Poetic Justice here, and I'm going to make a video today. Actually, like I said, these videos are actually probably all made in one night. About the subject of starting a new game or a new server, playing on a new server. What to do, you don't know what to specialize in, or maybe you're playing by yourself. Cases, when you're playing by yourself or you're playing with others, notable things that you have to know. And if you don't know them, then what happens is that can easily take advantage of everybody, and they do. And once that happens, then yeah, you get stuck in the Stone Age in the game, and for a while, like the reason why it takes about a week, days, to move from tier 1 to tier 2, and then to get the mint and whatnot. The people who essentially decide they're going to be a cook or a butcher back their research. So in the game, and I'll go ahead and spawn one of these. And you get this research lab. And it's one of the things that you'll probably be like the fourth thing you make after your little house that you have to make. That's not really a house, but it's necessary to do your work in at the beginning of the game when you start. We're going to take a look at some of the things that you need to get further in the game. So 2 things getting out of the Stone Age. Well, actually, there's 3 things that are important. Playing. Important. Is lumber. And what you'll notice about bricklaying and lumber is that they both require cloth them, or in order to research them. And you need tailoring. And it gets crazy because it's like, well, because who wants to be a tailor? Well, you have to have at least one tailor, or at least research the tailoring skill or something, or else you're not going to move forward in the game. And tailoring is kind of good because your backpack gets bigger. Heck, I think you can hold more items, etc. Or it could just look nicer, I don't know. The thing is, tailor. Yeah, let's go to the tailoring book. You need hide. You need leather hide. So you would think, well, I'll just kill some animals. But no, it's not that simple, because the only way you can get the fur pelt from the animals is with butchery. And to get butchery, you have to hunt those animals. So somebody has to hunt these animals, and then they have to research this, and then they have to then distribute the butchery skill book, because butchery is actually one of those skills to invest in initially, but you only really need to invest twice, which will probably use a lot of skill points, because how expensive it actually is. So, at least for early game anyway, it's expensive for early game. And then, normally in each server, one person is the only person skill book. And guess who they share that with? You or anybody else. And so they'll hoard it, and they'll say, well, I'll give you a butchery scroll, but you're gonna have to, like, stone, like, that you ridiculous, or all the wood that you can't actually get yet because wood or something, whatever. And I'll actually show a few tricks game, because people get stuck in the Stone Age, and that's what this is about. Getting out of the Stone Age. You're gonna have no food. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, get a bow and an arrow. Get a bow and an arrow. It's really easy. You get a bow and arrow basically free. You just invest in the hunting skill. You just put a single, just invest, and you click this. Goes from the positive sign being here to the negative sign you see. Automatically get in it, and I think it even shows it right here. Grants 1 bow and 20 arrows if you unlock it. That will allow you to have a bow and arrows. Now, to make a bow, you need boards, which means you need a carpentry station, logs, and to get hewed logs you have to chop trees, and that wastes a lot of energy, calories if you will, and if you're not going to have calories because you can't eat yet, then you can't make a bow, so you have to get a bow that way. And then you go and you kill, and the best animal to kill is the bison. A flat, plain, open area. And the thing about bisons is they're the most abundant animal in these open plains like this. This one's kind of plateauish, so you don't see many animals. All the other animals normally swarm around the forest areas, but the bison eats the grass, I guess, or whatever it is, and fine normally. In this world, I think 40 bison spawned whenever the world started, or 39 or something. I didn't see this waterfall earlier. So anyhow, I don't see any bison, but basically, you'll hunt them, and what will happen, and a lot of people don't like doing this, you also have to take, because if nobody specializes in this, it's going to be a problem, and most of the time people don't, and if they do, they don't tell anybody, they keep it to themselves, and they don't, which means that they tell nobody for no reason. They could have benefited if they let everybody know that they can cook. Everybody doesn't waste their skill points, which slows everybody down, makes everything more difficult. But essentially, you get the campfire cooking, and you level it up to 4. Now, if you actually do this, what that will allow you to do, which gives you charred meat. Each bison that you cook takes a while to cook, but that's worth it because 50 calories for the charred meat, 200 calories for each of these talos, which I don't know why you're gonna eat those. That's just not very, your character is lowest possible. The only problem with doing this early has to do with skill points. And a lot of people think that you should keep your skill points high early on in the game. But that's incorrect because multiplier, the very least the multiplier will go to for eating horrible foods that are unhealthy for you, 0.7. That means that you can eat a lot of unhealthy stuff, anything you want. Calories you need to get. So that you can, calories you want. Then you can just use down, and nothing will stop you from that, and everybody else will be busy complaining about food. However, before you even get a bow, before you even get a campfire, before you get any of that stuff, there's another trick that you can do that will help you get out of the Stone Age. At the very, very beginning, whenever you first join a server, next to the ocean, and I'm going to show that in a second when I find the ocean. Oh, it's this way. And there's also one more trick I'm going to show after this, which is how to mine early in the game. So in the ocean, there's this thingies at the bottom of the water, and you pick them up. Do is they give you a type of food called raw fish. Which is only 200 calories, and it's not very much, but if you hold the control button, you'll sink to the bottom of the water. Just keep picking up raw fish. And this is the easiest way to get plants that nobody else normally gets, because when you join a server and you're new, some people, the first thing they do is try to make go extinct, so they can monopolize on owning the seeds to the plant that take advantage of essentially everybody and slow their own progress down without realizing it. It's not necessarily like if you call them greedy, you're giving them too much credit. It's really just stupid, because you gotta be intelligent to be enough to and aware to be greedy. Think they're greedy because they're essentially stopping people from being able to do research on things that are necessary to move forward in the game, so everybody gets stuck, and that doesn't help anybody. So anyhow, how you can get calories early in the game when there's no calories. Now let's go ahead and talk about mining early in the game. Chopping trees. So when you chop a tree down early in the game, there's a couple of things that happen, and I'm going to go ahead and chop a tree down to show. Because you probably already know what happens after chopping a tree. But what you didn't know probably is if you, and I didn't know this for a while, but if you swing your axe at the leaves whenever they appear to be highlighted, the leaves get destroyed. And if you keep doing that to trees, you have a rare chance a seed from the tree that you can allow, you can then replant that tree. And if you really are serious about getting those seeds, then you can pick up a skill that you start with called Gathering, and you can get Forest Forager. And it will allow you to harvest birch and cedar seeds. A lot of people will eventually really want those. So, and wooden pulp's really annoying because it'll prevent you from building something in that space until the pulp is cleared. But it'll also, it seems to make the nutrition in the soil around a lot lower. At least that's what it seems. And if you remove the stump from the game, sometimes the game actually will automatically replant the tree that you just chopped somewhere nearby. Allow you to continue progressing without having to worry about replanting the trees too much. But because somebody else is probably going to get the farming skill, and they'll be doing that. Also, when you replant seeds in the ground, what you want to make sure you do for trees, 5 blocks apart. Because every 5 blocks, the game considers it a kind of tick thing. But there's chunks in the game, and the chunks are actually 10 blocks. Actually, but that's not what I read. The wiki, so I don't know if that's actually true. Because I know it's 10 blocks, the chunks, but the updates apparently happen in 5 blocks? That doesn't make sense, but okay. So it might be 10 blocks, but basically the game checks to see the nutrition level. And this should be common sense, but when you're gonna replant a tree or a seed or anything, you need to replant it right in the area that you got it from, because that's where it belongs. That's where it grew in the first place. That's obviously going to be the best place to house that. Also, when you chop these trees, I normally just chop it into a bunch of bits before I take it, because anyone else can still chop it into a bunch of bits, and then some of the bits become theirs apparently, and then you can't get any of the parts of the trees or anything like that. So the final thing I was going to tell y'all is mining. And so mining is pretty interesting for early game, because I use tricks other people don't. A lot of people dig in the dirt directly and try to start a mine, or they'll see these rocks on the surface and they'll mine them. What you want to do is go on your map and look for a river. Right there. And another thing about the maps is, and this is going to be important when you actually start playing the game, to generate very similar in terms of where they're going to locate the and the deserts. So whenever there's a tundra, there's normally right next to it this big green area. There's normally right around down here is a desert and wetland appears, and then normally there's this space here. Now, the funny thing about this is that nearly almost every server I've been to will server claims the area that's west of the tundra right now. And I don't know why they do that, but they just say this is going to be the commercial area. And they'll commercialize everything in this area here, because I guess it's just open meadow or something, I don't know. But this one's actually a highish mountain, so I don't know if they would do it here. This is the trick. Mining early in the game. Down a river to one of these spots like this, where there's a waterfall right there or whatever, and it'll spawn the stone layer and things like that. Look at all the coal and everything. You can just literally start mining right now. Too much about the dirt. And this is, you can also find the gold layers. See, there's gold right there. And copper, relatively easy this way, and you don't have to worry about digging under the ground. And you can make a secret little base under the water too if you want to, so that you won't get griefed early. But so what I'm hoping is that this is going to teach people how to play, so that I can, not necessarily so I won't be the only person doing this anymore, but actually because the fact that people don't do it holds back the entire server. And I've yet to see a server go all the way to 3 without severe problems, and then by tier 4 everybody already quit the game, or the host banned everybody and everything went bad. So this is how you get out of the Stone Age normally really fast. You want to specialize. Look at my other videos that I made earlier. That way you can see what the thought process should be when you're playing this game early. And let's see if we can find my... I think I lost my little bridge I made. Landmark that I just made the bridge right before this video. Anyhow, thanks for watching.